Welcome to the SCORE Business Showcase. We have a great program for you today. We have a super guest, Ann McGuire, from the Healthcare Pathfinder company. And I'm your host, and my co-host, the spectacular Marianne Croce. Welcome.
Oh, so
Marianne.
glad to be here, Stephen, and looking forward to this, Ann.
Oh, so nice to be here. Thank you very much for inviting me.
You know, as being part of SCORE, we have a lot of facilities, a lot of programs that go on. And Marianne, would you tell us about that, please?
Of course. I love talking about SCORE. SCORE is your free business resource. Business challenges are real. Don't go it alone. SCORE provides mentoring, online training, and webinars. Templates, guides, and frequently asked questions are available. Regardless of your stage of business, there is something for every small business owner and entrepreneur at SCORE.
With that, we're going to hand it over to you, Ann. You know, you've been with this this field for quite some time, as far as healthcare is concerned. Would you tell us about your business? A little bit about it.
Sure. So Healthcare Pathfinder is a healthcare advice, advocacy, and management firm. It's actually health and long-term care. We help people find, understand, manage, and advocate for their health insurance coverage and benefits.
Very good.
So what made you decide to start your own company, Ann?
Well, it was after my father had passed away, and I was working as a consultant for a similar firm. I was the only clinical nurse who worked with this firm, but people started calling me directly. And then my husband's division closed of his firm, and he needed to start over again. And I said, okay, time to start my own business. And that's when I did it.
Now, when did you first contact SCORE, and how did they help you? Yeah.
So I founded the business back in 2015. And then I kind of said, what am I doing? And I was still consulting. And what I did was I just kind of kept doing. People were calling me, and then I started building and kind of basing a lot of my structure off of where I had come from. And I finally called SCORE and I said, I'm starting this business. I have no idea what I'm doing. And I met with an advisor or mentor, and he sat with me and he said, this is great. Just keep doing what you're doing. Don't stop. He said, we'll work with you. And was the best, really the best advice I got was just keep going. And it was not about everything being perfect. And that was great.
Super.
Yeah, that's so true. When we start out, there's so much to do, right? We can sometimes feel stuck, but it's great that you were plugging away and were able to get, someone to help you through that. How would you say, Ann, that your business is different from your competitors?
So it's my combination of having the nursing case management expertise and the insurance expertise. So I worked in intensive care, home care, and managed care for an insurance company, and then have been working on this advocacy side for about 20 years. So what I find is there's the case managers who really focus on the medical side. And then there's the insurance managers who are they're doing their advocacy on just solely really on the insurance side. And I can combine the two. And it's very, very effective, especially with appeals and when people are going through an acute crisis in the hospital, or if they're transitioning to the community, to an assisted living facility, or to the community, to home care services. So I really am a facilitator, and my ability to understand and have experienced and done this for 20 some years that's where I see myself differentiating myself.
Now, in talking with you earlier, and I could hear that you're very passionate about your business. Now, how has your passion aligned with your business?
In many ways, I really enjoy helping people. And I'd like to really figure out how to help with communication, and knowing that I've gone through it myself with my father, and I'm dealing with it with my mother right now, who's transitioned to an assisted living facility. So it's just it's really my ability to want to help people and help them communicate and facilitate those conversations with the healthcare community, and really make them feel, like they have someone to be aligned with them on their side too. That's all heart and
Yeah.
determination.
I can hear it in your voice. Yes,
Yeah.
yes, determination to help them navigate through all of this. I think that's a perfect word, because so many people don't know, what they don't know. Where do I start? How do I do that? And they're already in a very stressful situation. So having a service such as yours is so important. What would you say you've done to grow your business, especially, during this pandemic that we've been going through?
Well, it's been pretty interesting. And I think of, resilience is the big word for, how people have transitioned during COVID. And I tell you, it was so great. I am sort of part of a bigger program that helps to support people who are growing their business. And it was all about jumping online and joining networking groups and really kind of finding community in what other people were doing. And it's been really great. I've met people all over the world, all over this country. I've gotten a couple referrals recently, one from Utah, one from Chicago, a client South Carolina. So I can do, I've been doing this for years, 20 some years nationally. And it's just been, as everyone's transitioned to Zoom and online or just over the phone, which I've always done, it's just been able to continue that and just sort of strengthen relationships. So that's been significant. And then I'm trying to think of other things. I just took advantage of the time to grow my business during COVID initially, and then it's gotten very busy. So
Now,
Yeah, I think that's a really good point. Relationships.
Right. The Haven community that's here in Darien, Connecticut has been really wonderful. They really transitioned to Zoom and did a lot of educational seminars, and SCORE, of course. I've always listened to and gone onto your webinars. And again, that's just been so great. And it does create that community of support and just continuing to strengthen what you're doing and believe in what you're doing.
In addition to what's been going on with this pandemic, what challenges have you faced and overcome?
Well, the challenges let's see. I guess I feel like with what I do, there's constant challenges as far as working with clients. So I think, and what I've always done, just working at volunteering for an ambulance for years, I think I'm fairly adaptable. So as far as dealing with the challenges, I adjust and figure out how to just manage and problem solve. But one of the harder things is I hired some people and I did have to let someone go. And so that was sort of a, tough decision, but it ended up being, agreeable on both sides. So, but not everything, I have to say, I've been very fortunate that I have not experienced what so many people have experienced during COVID related to their business. So I'm just very grateful.
Excellent.
What skills would you say that you need to be a successful entrepreneur?
Uh, you have to be very good at problem solving. You have to grow the business, really be able to communicate and build relationships with, you know, to grow your team, but also to, connect with the community and, just for referrals going both ways. Uh, as we were saying, being resilient is so important. But that ability to just keep moving forward and getting help. I think you have to have that ability to see what you're good at and what you're not good at. I think those are sort of major skills. There's so many, but it's also the skill to be able to put fear aside and just keep moving forward.
It sounds like a lot of those skills for our audience are transferable. You can have some of those skills like in your younger, from some of your earlier days, as you mentioned, volunteering, EMS, 14 years old. I mean, there's a lot and a lot of those skills are very transferable and I'm sure help you throughout your career.
Definitely. I mean, where I grew up was, you've got three exits on I-95. So we spent a lot of time out there and we were trained very well. It was very serious. We became EMTs at 16 and driving ambulance at 16 and a half. So you had to be trained well. And you really did kind of develop some strong skills there. And then being a nurse as well, you're dealing with a lot of people's, lives. So, you learn about the importance of how life can change in a second. Mm-hmm. And what you really need to do to just keep going forward and taking care of yourself and prioritize what's important, but also, being an entrepreneur is very challenging, but it's really a wonderful challenge for yourself to see what you can do and push yourself.
With that thought in mind, you've been in business for a while and you've learned quite a few things. What is the most outstanding thing that you've learned in being a business owner?
Besides how hard it is, that it's really just, to be honest with you, well, it's really like life. From working for companies and, knowing that you can go off on your own and be that leader of a company it's just a wonderful opportunity to try it out if you can. But it also, it really challenges you beyond what you ever thought you could do. And it's really a wonderful experience. Also, it holds you accountable. It's you. Like if something goes wrong here, it's you. And I'd say that's probably one of the biggest challenges. And hiring people and helping them feel like me. It's like, this is your client too, not just mine. So I'd say that's probably my biggest challenge.
Excuse me, I'm curious, Anne, has your business pivoted in any way, especially during the pandemic, even if it's with, clients' needs? Have you noticed anything that was different or changed?
Well, yes. A lot of it is, not necessarily, ever since I started this business and even the prior company I worked for, I was talking to clients on the phone all over the place. So I still do that. There are some transitions to Zoom, which has been, fortunately, a part of a program and, was pretty quick to do that transition, which just became fairly comfortable quickly. But as far as it was really more about, I think, helping people deal with these transitions or families in the hospital and they couldn't be there and supporting them. But I feel like I do that anyway. So the major shifts that I made during the pandemic really related to just building the business and creating structure. Did that answer your question?
Yeah, you mentioned that you took the time, to do that and really focus on that, which I think, was an opportunity, to
Right.
do that. And you recognized it, which was good.
Yes. Yeah. It was great at first. I just thought, this is great. I have time to organize and prioritize and set goals. So that was really, and follow through on them.
With all the things that are going on right now, and a lot of people have been locked down. A lot of businesses have been locked down, and a lot of people wonder, when are we going to get out of this condition? As far as where we're at, what future do we have? How about you? What plans do you have for the future of your business?
Really to keep doing what I'm doing and keep building. What I really would like to do is hire more case managers or well-rounded case managers who understand the insurance side, or at least train them to do that. Because what's so important about understanding the insurance side when you're advocating is that, unfortunately, so many of these decisions are cost-driven on the provider side. When you're in the hospital, and appeals has been really significant and very rewarding in a way of working with families who are clients, their family members are being denied an opportunity to get the higher level of care, and the insurance company is saying, no, we're not paying for that. And to be able to, I'm going to find people throughout the country who can help me do that. Because families just don't realize, and unfortunately, they'll call me after the transition has been made, and it's very hard to go back. I was fortunate enough to just work with a family out in Utah whose mother had been in a car accident. She was 53. And the insurance company, it was just very difficult. It's taken her a long time to sort of wake up and recover, but they were just sending her out the door. And they did call me a little bit late, but we were able to get the insurance company to go backwards. They actually had her at a long-term care facility, and we got them connected with several different doctors, and were able to get her back into a hospital acute rehab. And it was just amazing. And it was just, this is a 53-year-old who was working, walking, etc. 5 months ago. This is her last chance. This is the family's last chance. And it's been great. So that happened on Friday. So we're just hoping it goes very well. But at least we know we got her that last opportunity, because insurance won't pay for it again. So that's what I want to do, is just find other people who want to do the same thing and join me to do it.
That's great.
I could see how rewarding, listening to that story, how rewarding this is for you. What advice would you provide a new business owner?
Let's see. Well, talk to SCORE if you have any idea of even thinking about starting a business. I would say even if it's like stirring in your mind, ask for help, talk to people, talk to other entrepreneurs. I think that's really the way to do it. I think it very important, depending on your situation, is to understand the finances of starting a business, but there's so much support out there. Between SCORE, the Small Business Association, the Women's Business Development, all of these programs, they have free support and services. to a certain level, but they really help people. It's really amazing, and they reward businesses too, which is kind of fun as well. But that's really, and just, yeah, it's really asking for help and guidance to do it. And I think anyone can do it, and just kind of keep moving forward and making sure you're checking and getting a reality check on what you're doing, obviously. So yeah, that's
All
my.
good advice.
Mhm.
Now,
Yes.
Ann, you've been involved for a while. What has been one of your greatest successes that you've had in your business?
Well, in the moment, I just go with what I just went through with this family the past month, because it's been really, and I kind of get emotional about it, because this is a 53-year-old who's divorced, and she took 4 daughters, and her daughter, who's 32, someone told her about our business, and it was really, they're worried about paying for these types of services. They're paying for an advocate, so it was really working with them as a team. And this is what I really loved about it, is that they were willing to do a lot of it. But I was able to coach them. And it was really a team effort. And it was high fives all around, and wish we could hug each other. But it was really a wonderful experience. And, I don't know what the outcome will be, but I was in the doctor's office on the phone during this assessment when he said, yes, she can go to this acute rehab, and asking her in the room, I'll say her name's Jenny. And I said, Jenny, what do you think your potential is? And she said, I don't know. She said, I thought I was going to recover, but now I don't know if I can, because she didn't know if the insurance company was going to pay for it. So it was a lot of pushing and pushing and pushing to get it. And I think it was worth that. So that's for right now, I'm going to go with that one. But the appeals, I have to say, sometimes they're not like the most cost-effective way to run a business, but they're really, when they really have a major impact. Those are my favorite things that I do.
Well, it sounds like you're a great coach and you're really helping these individuals. So, keep on doing that.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, these services are so needed. I have a question. On your website, it talks about the services. You help people prepare for future needs, avoid costly mistakes, and get support for caring for themselves as well. When is the best time for someone to contact you?
So, I always say, if it's insurance coverage related with healthcare, I say, a couple months before that transition is ideal. I do get the people who call and say, that month. And, whether I help them, or I'll refer them to a broker, whichever, is the best fit for them. With a new diagnosis, very important. And, that's would be another win, is helping someone through that transition, even when they're still working. If they have a significant diagnosis that's debilitating, really important for us to be talking to their HR department and making sure the transition with their benefits, that they understand what they're eligible for. I have a client who actually almost missed all of their disability benefits because he just was going to retire and they didn't know why. So those transitions, and then also on the long-term care insurance side, that's usually the children, is, as soon as they realize that their parents have a long-term care policy, to give us a call and help them with submitting the claim and helping them make sure you don't hire aides before if they've got a policy, you've got to understand whether or not they're going to cover that type of aid and things of that sort. So in advance is ideal, so that we can get authorizations on file with the insurance company and all of that as well. So I hope that in advance, being proactive
Yeah.
is ideal.
Now,
Those
with
are good tips, because anyone going through that, it could be very emotional for the family.
Mhm.
So to know, to contact you early is best. Thank you.
Now, with everything that's going on, especially with this COVID-19, what have some of the conversations been, or how have people felt about this pandemic?
It's all over. The conversations I've had related to how people are feeling about it now, everyone just wants it to go away, and they want to travel. But in relation to what I deal with clients, is the hardest thing is the limitation on being able to visit their family members in a community. I have someone who's transitioning to a long-term care today, and then they can only see this father who's had a severe stroke for a half an hour, maybe a day.
Mm.
So it's all trusting on all these. And, back in the spring, couldn't see family members at all who were actually dying, and maybe were let in for one visit. So those conversations have been difficult, but I've been through it for so many years that I love to be able to help people through that, and make those decisions as to which pathway to go down. So.
Very good. Well, how might our audience get in touch with you, Ann?
So they can send me an email at McGuire@healthcarepathfinder.com, or they could give me a call, 203-656-2167. They can go to my website, which is healthcarepathfinder.com, and there'd be a link on there, and they can send me an email. So whatever way they'd like to get in touch with me, I'd love to speak with people. I will do free consultations for about 20-30 minutes. And that's it. But thank you so much for having me. This is great.
Well, it's been enjoyable. I'll mention again, because we did talk offline about the book Option B. So we're not talking about Part B when it comes to Medicare, but Option B as far as handling adversity. All right. And you've seen plenty of that adversity in your line of work. And how have you handled it too, by the way? How have you handled that adversity?
It's sort of, life, and you have to keep picking yourself up and moving forward, and helping support my clients through that has been difficult for them. So it's probably a great book to read, and I have not read it, so I will do that.
Well,
This was a pleasure.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead, Marianne.
No, I really enjoyed speaking with you today, Ann. It was a pleasure, and very valuable information.
Thank you. It's really, I would love to know more about what your backgrounds are. I really didn't have, it's so busy, and I thought, I wasn't sure who was going to be on this call, to be honest with you. So I'm glad it was the two of you, because I did see you interview the Doyles.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Well, we'll talk about that offline in a moment, but I'd like to thank you also for joining us this fine day, and we look forward to talking to you again. So to our audience out there, we'd like to thank you for joining us, and once again, to you business owners, all right, to your success in the coming days.